Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back. We're actually going to record a game today. I'm pretty excited. I've been super busy. I know, I'm sorry. Okay, we're looking for a house. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, if you're wondering, I'm wearing this shirt. Okay, so we're going to go and play the new Arcane City. I'm super freaking pumped for, okay? You have no idea. So Monochrome, Lovecraftian mystery. In the noir-like future, beautiful blonde strolls into your office one day. As a private detective formerly of the FBI and down on luck and love, you know to trust your instincts, and the case that she wants you to take terrifies you, as it is similar in nature to a case that went terribly wrong when you were with the Bureau. In this story of love, redemption, mystery, and cosmic horror, content warning. There's always content warning here. You guys know the kind of stuff that I play, right? So let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, this was made by one person there. That person is amazing. If you want to freaking check them out, their links are... Oh, their links aren't there? Oh, there you go. Arcane City Game Studios. There you go. There's all the information here. I highly recommend them. They're super nice, and they put a lot of hard work into it, okay? So let's play the game. Okay, I'm literally just in my documents. Let's play the game. New game. Alright, the music. I forgot the awesome music in this game. I was working late when this dam walked in. This dam? Don't all of these stories start this way? Hey, wait a minute. Let me back up in a bit. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. The name is Rivers. Michael Carl Rivers. I'm a private investigator. I used to be with the FBI until a botched investigation, and now I make my own rules and do things my own way. What happened? Well, it was a child trafficking case that went bad. A bunch of kids got killed in the crossfire. I sank into a depression afterwards and lost my job. Next, the wife left me, which came as to no big surprise. Then I wound up inheriting some money from my uncle and started my own private investigation service. It's usually the typical stuff, affairs, missing people, and all that other jazz the cops haven't solved or have given up on. Sometimes there's the weird stuff, crazy stories like UFO abductees, ghosts, otherworldly crap. Always turns out to be something I can debunk though. One day, I was hard at work on a bottle of booze when this came in. She was knockout, a bombshell with the kind of legs men would kill for, and a smile that would make a dead man blush. As soon as she stepped in, I knew that either she was going to change my life or she was going to be the big trouble. Dolls like that usually are. I looked up from my computer. Give me a sec. My whole computer's shaking. I have to do this with the song. I don't have my contacts in. Okay, here we go. I looked up from my computer in some spooky case I've been looking into. Her face seemed to have a bit of an anxiety in it, as if somebody had killed her best friend or something. I could tell by her footsteps that she was a lady on a mission. Are you Detective Rivers? She fidgeted nervously with her hands as she walked over and stared at me. Her intense eyes burned directly into my soul as she spoke imploringly and with an urgent tone. My name is Nebulous Saffron. I need help. I've tried the police, but they blew me off like I was crazy or something. Please, you're my last hope. never could resist a tight skirt and a pair of big eyes like hers. Take a seat, doll. Okay, alright. I closed the lid off my laptop to get a better view of her as she sat down, and man, what a view. Sounds like you've got a hell of a problem if the police won't even look into it. Please, don't think I'm crazy and don't laugh. I'm so tired of that. Promise me? I'll see what I can do. She stared blankly for a moment before the urgency in her voice returned. It's my son. He vanished. Been missing for a while now. Not just that, my ex-boyfriend, his father's missing too. I've tried to get everyone that I can think of involved. Police, FBI, and even a few other private investigators. They either act like it's no big deal or they won't take it a case at all. I don't understand. I'm just gonna put my stuff away there so I don't fuck up my cords. Sorry. Okay. Weird. Why would the local PD give her the blow-off like that? I nodded and listened to her story inquisitively. As she continued, I made sure to take notes on the stuff that I could help. That I thought I could help. There was one of those conversations in town, Kids Fan Con, you know, where the big stars from televisions and the movies show up to meet the kids, sign autograph, and so on. My ex took him, and that was the last I heard from him. I tried calling and going by the house, never got a reply. How long ago was this? Almost a year. Geez, a year? That's a long time to have no new leads. The thought of taking another case involving a child, though, it made my skin crawl, especially after the thing that got me booted off the bureau. Well, I don't know. I normally don't do cases involving children. Bad memories. Please, I'll do anything. Well, I could deal with anything from her, I guess, depending on what her definition was. Okay, I'll take the job. We'll discuss payment later. She gave me Charlie's photo and then I proceeded to give her a few copies on my business card. And I took down her number along with some more notes on the case before walking her out. Hey, can I be a gentleman occasionally? I can be a gentleman occasionally, you know. Right. I did a search on her son, Charlie, but it turned up very little sad. I thought, a kid vanished without a trace gets you a decent cent article in the back of a newspaper these days. Checking online, I looked for the info on Kids Fan Con. Various things popped up, so I decided to narrow it down, cross-referencing the words abduction and missing child. What I found shocked me. Always loved the music. Hell yeah. Satanic cults abuse young. Yes! Yes! That's awesome, I love that. Oh, I'm wearing the perfect shirt today. Oh wait. Eat trash and he'll Satan. It's meant to be. It's all a conspiracy. We're looking for the kind of people who can see a computer. Oh. End child trafficking. Did you know they torture and sacrifice children? Monochrome. The last video? Oh yeah, that was funny. I saw people freaking out about that. Plot for the movie Monsters Inc. is kind of weird. Rich monsters and their lust for harvesting. Yeah. Father assaults son and daughter. This is fucking awesome, dude. I love it. So cool. God, I wish my YouTube intros were this cool. The conspiracy theories were abundant locally to me, as if people had lost their marbles in both desperation and helplessness regarding the topic of missing children. However, my anxiety increased when I read something which raised an eyebrow. On the local community forum, it appeared as that a number of children and their guardians have vanished locally around that convention. Why wasn't this being investigated and reported in the newspapers or on the television? Something didn't sit quite well for me. I felt off, for lack of a better term. Yeah, the fucking news stations, they only report on shit that's gonna give them views, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care. Arg. I decided to look up the promoter of the Kids Fan Con. A web search usually produced a result. A well-known sleazeball named Brian Torgani. Not only was Torgani known to law enforcement as a smooth-talking local con man, he was an alleged slumlord and a former drug dealer. He had money, sure, but I guess that's what's mostly from shady businesses dealing in back rooms. I proceeded to call one of my regional law enforcement contacts in order to get some information on Torgani's whereabouts. Hello? Jones, hey, it's Detective Rivers. Hey Rivers, how you been, pal? Long time no talk. How's that private eye business of you going? Not bad. I'm actually calling about a case right now. As a matter of fact. Oh yeah, what you got, pal? Looking to find out the whereabouts of Brian Torgani, missing person investigation, and I think that he might be involved. Oh, Torgani, man, you don't want to get involved in that. Guy's dangerous and the cops can't even seem to touch him. Pretty sure he's got somebody wired in the courthouse downtown. You just let me worry about that. This is my dime, friend. Let me know where he is. Sorry, just checking on my dogs. Man, you know what? If you want to deal with that creep, fine. Just don't say I didn't warn you, kid. When shit hits the fan, and watch your back. Something in Officer Jones' tone of voice sent a chill down my spine, as if there was feeling of impending doom lurking behind this whole case. There was a monster behind the curtains, and I was about to take a peek at it. You spent a lot of time at the T-bar. Just be careful if you go there. It's a shady joint. Thanks, Jones. You're welcome, and if anybody asks, you didn't hear none of this from me. Click. I decided to ride down to the T-bar, hoping like hell that clown was there. Sorry, I keep hearing stuff, and I'm like, I've been playing a lot. You know when you play a lot of horror games and watch a lot of horror movies and stuff, and you hear something, so you're like, fuck. Alright. I drove through the streets nervously, wondering what I might encounter at the bar. It was a speakeasy way back on the old days, and that influence still seemed to have a firm grip. Rumors abounded that the place was rowdy, organized crime-controlled night spot. But then again, who was I to judge how people want to spend their free time? Maybe the rumors were just that, or maybe the place was as bad as its reputation seemed to indicate. I'll find out soon enough, I thought to myself, as I neared the outskirts of town where the T-bar resided. This is such an interesting story so far. Help. Not as they are. Help the... Things are not as they are. Not that again. As I got out of my car, I had one of my infamous neurological fainting episodes. Those things drove me nuts. None of the doctors could figure them out either. I regained my focus, looking around. I made my way to the door, preparing myself for anything that I could encounter once I got into the building. A tinge of dread gripped me, remembering the warning of my police officer friend. The reverberation of music drifted outside, however the street itself was barren of any activity other than myself. I brushed off the looming terror in my mind and made my way into the building. Nice. Oh shit, look at that tough guy. Suddenly, a crazed-looking fella stumbled towards me rather aggressively. It didn't take very long to figure out who he was. Hey, I know you. You're that loser that got fired from the FBI, then became a private dick. What do you want? You ain't really welcome here. You're a Torgani, right? Relax, man. I just came here to ask you a few questions. He quickly grabbed the tranquilizer gun off of a nearby table. Whoa, 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 relax. I'm just here to ask you about the Kid FanCon. I'm trying to find out about that event you promoted a while back, Kids FanCon. There were several kids and their parents who mysteriously vanished after attending it. What the hell? Are you accusing me of something, you asshat? Torgani raised the weapon at me, angry and looking like he was about to fire. Time to rough this scumbag up, I thought to myself. I'll just beat the information out of him. I proceeded to quickly backhand his arm, knocking the weapon from his hand, and then kicked him in the leg through a quick series of jabs to his face. He came back at me, stumbling around and knocking me over a table, which collapsed. Oops. A few minutes later, and half the bar was damaged. Onlookers seemed to be enjoying the show, though I could have sworn I heard the bartender calling for bets on who would hit the ground and stay down. Hopefully they bet on me winning the fight. I swept Torgani's leg with a strong kick, and as I reached down and punched him in the stomach a few times. Fine, I swear, I don't know anything about no missing kids. I just promoted the damn event. You guys, the guy you'd want to speak instead of, who is the head of security, Paul Santos. He hangs out up at Jimmy's station. Now leave me alone. Thank you for your cooperation. Good night. Jimmy's Station? Wow. I haven't heard that name in a while. Fun little bar and restaurant, and the biggest karaoke spot in town. Ever since that mysterious fire burned down the Tavern nightclub years ago. Geez, now I have to go to yet another bar. I haven't had to bar hop since my 21st birthday, and that was for completely different reasons. Getting drunk off my ass. Relatable. I headed out to the car. I made my way down to Jimmy's Station Bar and Grill. Figured I could get something to eat, listen to some tunes while I was there, regardless of Santos being present or not. I went through the streets of sprawling Metropolis, making my way down to the south end of the county. As I pulled up, the place looked almost exactly like I had remembered it from the last time I was there, though from what I heard it was under new management, as a couple of years ago. It looked to be a busy night. There was various groups talking, eating, and singing karaoke. Looking around, Santos was nowhere to be seen, and I wondered if Brian had lied to me just to get me out of the tea bar. Deciding to wait it out, I took a seat at one of the few empty tables, and a doll came rushing over to take my order. Man, she was a knockout. Lithuania. Huh. Hey there, what can I get for you? Have you had time to look at the menu yet? Yeah, I'll take number 4 and a side order for you. And upsize everything. And I'll take a double of that and then upsize that too. And then pack some to go. What? She giggled like a schoolgirl. You know what they say, be careful what you wish for. Beers to drink or soda? Draft beer, please. She winked at me provocatively while writing down my order. You new around here? Actually, me and my partner own this place. We bought it a few years ago. I'm Lynthenia McIntosh Veritas, but you can just call me Lynn. Pleasure to meet you. Listen, do you know if a... Oh, sorry. Pleasure to meet you. Listen, do you know if a cat named Santos might be here tonight? Probably. He's usually in here after work for a few beers, and he sings a couple of songs. Awesome. Thanks, sweetheart. You're a doll. Well, they say I'm about as limber as a doll, if that counts. By the way, do you want a cookie or a candy bar? What? You get a free one with your order from hitting on me. She winked. A cookie, I guess. Awesome. That means I get to eat a candy bar, my favorite. She walked up, put it in my order. Well, yeah, makes sense. What a strange gal. No, I could go for a candy bar. After 10 minutes, Lynthenia proceeded to bring me the food along with some witty banter. It was a fantastic meal, and his place still lived up to his reputation for good, cheap grub. I sat around for a while having a few drinks. Without a warning, a man came up to my table and he set a few personal items down before speaking. So I heard that you're looking for me? Who told you that? The owner's Lynn. I'm Santos, Paul Santos. What did you need? I'm investigating some missing persons report from the Kids Fan Con last year. Apparently a bunch of people that went to it, specifically kids and whoever the guardian was, took them, vanished into thin air. I heard about that too. I tried looking into it, but it's like I was blocked at every turn. Weird. Did you guys get anything on camera? Nope, not a damn thing other than typical coming and going. Well, actually, there was one thing that seemed really odd. What's that? There was this little leaflets being passed around randomly, kinda weird. Seems like everyone had them and no one knew where they came from. Do you have a copy of one of them? Not on me, but I can email you a scanned copy once I get home. I proceeded to give Santos my email address. Seemed like the kind of guy I'd want on my side anyhow. And you can never have too many contacts when you're in the law enforcement profession. Thanks, Santos. I appreciate it. He nodded, shook my hand, and walked off. It was then that I realized that Santos had forgotten his stuff on my table. Miskatonic Sentinel vanishing. Newspaper article was left. Sorry, I was reading the top and then. The newspaper article Santos had left was older than my granny. Why would Santos care about a missing fella from up in the northeastern part of the country who vanished 100 years ago? The photo of the guy looked familiar, though, oddly enough. The next day I made my way to the office as usual. Still nothing from Santos yet. Since I was there anyhow, I figured that I might as well do some research. I decided to look up information on Randolph Carter. Randolph. Born in 1874, was an antiquarian, a man of scientific notation. He attended university. A rumor has it that he is age of 9. At the age of 9, he started showing rather strange gifts, including that of precognition. Carter served in the French Foreign Legion during the First World War and was badly wounded fighting near Bello-en-Santerre. In 1916, during the Battle of Somme, in which legion participated, he was ruled out as a suspect in the murder of a friend and colleague, Harley Warren. Due to a lack of a body, Warren was placed on a missing list and is presumed dead. He was an uncelebrated author whose writings were seldom noticed until after he disappears, whereas he gained popularity as a cult figure amongst fans and of horror and science fiction. When he vanished, there was a large police search. No trace of him was ever found. At his will reading, a strange robbed man showed up claiming that he was still alive and would return someday. His cousin, the lawyer, reading the will, died. Okay. His estate remains in limbo. I could swear that I've read some of this before. I started to go ahead and look up the Kids Fan Con website info, but as I went to the site, I got a 404 error saying that the URL was down. I dressed up as a 404 error one day. That was like, I was just wearing like a geeky outfit with like a skirt and suspenders. My right shirt said error 404, costume not found. Anyways, I was pretty proud of myself. Suddenly my mail inbox let me know what Let me know that I had a message. I opened up the email to find a scan of the flyer, which at first looked innocent enough, but after reading everything and taking it in, maybe made my spine tingle. I made a printout of it, taking a closer look. Hey kids, after visiting KidsCon, be sure to bring your guardian and come spend time with the stars. Come visit them on the bus outside. It's going to be a great time. You'll see things in a new light. Sign our special guest book while you're here and get a super secret name. Seems legit. Go to the tour bus after the convention. Secret names. All this could be innocent enough, at face value, however, with so many unexplained vanishings surrounding this confession. This sounded like some sort of a cult. Could be damn. Conspiracy theorists, be right? As I started closely at the symbol on the paper, I felt faint. Holy frig, I can't read already and I just started. As I stared closely at the symbol on the paper, I felt faint. There was something hauntingly familiar about it, and yet I knew that I had never seen it. Déjà vu? Jamais vu? Oh no, another episode. I gripped the desk tightly, having had another one of my neurological spells. After recovering from my daze, I scoured the web for the previous mentioned symbol, searching frantically for its meaning. Sadly, the only thing that I could find was a reference to it appearing in ancient grimoire, an occult book of spells in various arcana mythology. This knowledge in hand, I figured the best thing to do would be to go to an actual college library. The closest one was Louisville University, so I hopped in my car and made my way there. The city streets were surprisingly desolate, and I pondered the strange circumstances of this case as I continued driving. Hopefully I'd find something, anything really, to keep me on the trail of Miss Saffron's missing kiddo. The library was quiet and nearly empty except for the occasional student. Sad, I thought to myself, witnessing first-hand downfall of the written text, there was something to be said for the feel of a soft page turning in one's hand. Snapping back to reality, I walked around looking through the occult section of the library. Sadly, there wasn't much there, rather nothing useful in my quest to identify the cryptic symbol on the leaflet. You look like a guy who's trying hard to find something. Considering the section you're looking in, I might be able to help you with that. I looked up from the bookshelf to see a nicely dressed man with silver hair, striking blue eyes, standing there. Hi there, I'm Chris. Pleasure to meet you. I'll help you with the library, and I'm also a professor of archaeology, cosmology, and astrophysics. I teach both here and the university. Depending on the time of year, something I can help you find? A professor? Perfect. Maybe this guy can help me out. Hey, Chris. My name is Detective Rivers. I'm looking for information on the symbol, I replied, pulling out the flyer and pointing to the strange sigil. His eyes widened. Where did you get this? It's part of a case I'm working. I take it from your reaction that you've seen it before? Yes, it's from a very old grimoire that was originally found in the Middle East and was lost to time. There is a sparse number of badly translated copies and still floating around. The title of the book roughly translates to the Book of the Dead or the Necronomicon. Nice. What in the hell was that? Before I knew it, I had fallen to my knees and the professor was helping me back up. That didn't just seem like a neurological fainting episode. This was some type of vision. Creepy. I looked at the professor nervously after what I had just witnessed. I didn't know if I was going mad or perhaps my medication needed adjustment, but something instantly frightened me about this man. Are you okay, Detective Rivers? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine. Thanks for helping me up, pal. You were saying? I told me have been some unintentional urgency. I didn't want to be around this guy any longer than I had to be. The symbol, best that academia has been able to decipher, is the sigil of forgotten entity, which, according to the crazed writings of the author of the Necronomicon, was worshipped by some rather mad sects back in the day. I have the Necronomicon here with me, actually. Whoa. Yeah, and it gets more interesting. These sects regularly practice some of the worst rituals known to mankind, Human sacrifice, cannibalism, dark magic, and other immoral things. They claimed that the universe was based not around good and evil, but was instead alien to the human ideas of right and wrong. Human sacrifice? Yep. And even the entity's name was feared to be spoken out loud. About today's set was this? Oh. What was it called, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know if I should tell you or not. According to the gent who penned the Necronomicon, Abdullah al-Hazrad, even knowing the name of the god can drive one to insanity. He smirked slightly. I'm fine with that. Lay it on me, Pally. Azathoth. Dearest, we need to leave now if we're going to attend the ceremony. An alluring feminine voice called out towards the direction of the professor, no doubt his significant other, based on the amorous inflections and keywords in her rather seductive vocal tone. Oh, my better half, Cassidy, has arrived. Oh shit. Yes, and we're going to be late for our evening ritual if you do not haste yourself. Of course, beautiful. The woman gave off a magnetic pull that was beyond describable, and whilst she was alluring, the lady vibe was somehow even more panic-inducing than the aura of the professor. If you'll excuse me, excuse us, Detective Rivers, we need to leave. We have plans. I was afraid to know what those plans were, and how did she know my name? Alright, thanks for your help, Professor. You two have a good night. No problem, and if you need anything else, I'm in the phone book. My full titular is Professor Christopher Saffron. Good night. Oh shit. After the left, it hit me. Saffron. That was my client and her child's last name. Could the professor be related to her? This was really getting weird. At this point I needed to update Nicholas on finding thus far, so I made contact and asked her to meet me for pizza, the best franchise that I know of. Beyond telling her what I found, I just wanted to relax and have a nice dinner with a good-looking lady at a family-friendly, wholesome establishment without any mention of murder, kidnapping, or cults. I drove a few miles and parked at the young waitress Pizza Time. Pizza greeted me politely and with enthusiasm. Yeah, I was waiting for a song like that to come up. I followed the waitress and made my way to the table as the scent of freshly made pizza, garlic bread, lasagna. Oh, you're killing me. I'm on my time of the month. Why you do this to me? Also, there better not be anything sad, because I don't want to cry like last time. Okay.
Pizza time.
Oh shit.
Not a cult.
Pizza time. That's awesome.
Time.
As I had called ahead of time, a beautiful freshly made pie was sitting on the table, complete with a rather large ordinate cutting knife and an oddly decorated cutting board. I made my way over and sat down, figuring that I better wait until the doll arrives to cut the slices. Hopefully she felt like eating. This place was legendary. How can I read this with the song on? That's awesome. It's definitely not a cult. Definitely not a cult. It's not a cult.
Yes, want you to hang out with me. Yes.
Oh god, this is great.
Yes.
Admitted there was some sort of big scandal several decades ago revolving around the original Pizza Time pizza restaurant, but from what I'd heard, they kept their noses clean since then. I have to admit, in retrospect, that the elevator music they were playing was a little bit odd.
Nothing to do with us. What? Come on, let's have fun now. Yes. Come on, let's have fun now. Yes. We'll invite your friends too. Cool.
Yes.
Sacrifice the weak ones. What's
yes.
Here for the ascension? What?
Sacrifice.
Hey
yes.
there, how's it going? My name's Mr. Pizza. You know that I'm cool cause my sunglasses. If you want to be cool like me, all you have to
I don't see anything wrong with this.
Pizza time, pizza time.
Pizzeria time. Pizzeria time. Pizza. Pizzeria time. Pizza. Pizza. Pizzeria time.
What's that
time,
over
time,
there?
time.
What's that in the sky? What's your date of birth? What's your middle name?
Okay,
What's
another
your
one of those
favorite
fainting
shirt?
spells of mine that was
What's
surreal
your
though.
home address?
It was a pizza
What's
man, a bunch of
Social
macabre
Security number?
imagery.
What's your credit card information?
I really am starting to believe that I'm losing my marbles. I waited a bit longer ignoring my ravenous hunger pains for a bit until you know who finally showed up. Good to see you again, Mr. Rivers. Well, I hope you're hungry. There's plenty to eat. Famished, actually. I've been running around all day. I still put up those little missing posters everywhere. Don't you worry, doll. We'll find him. Do you really think so? It's been so long since he disappeared. She rested her head on her hand and sat an expression on her beautiful features. Well, there's something that I've got to tell you about my progress. It sounds nuts, but the more I look into it, the more it looks like some kind of crazy cult kidnapping. There are a bunch of conspiracy theories going around about Hollywood types taking kids to harvest something called Adrenochrome from them, allegedly to stay young. It's nuts. Tears began to form in her eyes. I reached over and gave her a hug, comforting her. The good thing is that I think I have some leads on the people who I think took him. Really? She took a napkin and dried her eyes. Yep, sure do. Just let this sink in. Sorry if my voice changes. I'm trying to like keep voices a bit different, but then I get too much into the story. And I like forget I'm doing a voice, you know what I mean? If we don't find him, I can just help you make another one at some point? Okay, no. I've got leads. We're gonna find Charlie. Detective Rivers, you're the best. If not, too forward of me to ask, would you like to go out dancing with me sometime? Absolutely, sounds good to me. She smiled, both hopeful and more relaxed. This would be a new beginning for her. That's, you know, when I smile to people, that's probably what they get in real life. They're like, oh fuck, what the fuck was that? Like, yeah, alright. Oh, these spells were hitting me more and more now. If this keeps up, I was gonna have to wind up locking myself in an asylum. We sat around and ate and talked and ate some more before she left. The waitress brought me the damage on the receipt, which I paid with credit card. She acted sleepish when she gave me the receipt back after the payment, and scurried off. I would soon find out why. On the back of the receipt was a URL. I headed back to the office to look it up. I'm gonna turn my heater fan down. I looked up the URL. It took me to an auction website. The auction was for a pair of shoes named Charlie Shoes for $2,000. What the hell? They're auctioning children? Oh, what the hell? I decided. I clicked on the Buy It Now button. Suddenly a new page popped up, asked me to enter my payment information, my phone number, which I did. Then another page surfaced telling me to call the Waylay Enterprises phone number. I took a deep breath and picked up the handset of the telephone. Robotic voice picked up. Authorization confirmed. Your prize will be located at 296 Innsmouth Street. Thank you for using Waylay Enterprises. Innsmouth Street? Click. I ran into my car, packing my pistol, my phone, handcuffs, and a pocket knife. I made my way to the location. As I was close to arriving, my cell phone rang. I could hear Mrs. Saffron on the line. I thought it was distorted. Help me! They've got me! Someplace in Innsmouth Street, underground, oh god! I quickened my driving, pulling up to the building and running to the door. The place was old and clearly abandoned, and yet the entry was unlocked. The sparse, empty warehouse-like room seemed musty and uninhabited, and the faint glow of candles lit the walls. A trap door in the floor was visible, so I quickly flung it open, running down the creaky wooden steps. What I found bewildered me. But, excuse me. There, sloping downwards, was a long tunnel, apparently the entryway to a cave deep in the earth. I walked for ages, making my descent carefully while also taking note of my surrounding. Oh shit. I was then made privy to something beyond belief, impossible by any reasonable stench of lodging, and yet there it was, an ancient, huge underground chamber, perhaps a tomb of sorts carved out of the rock facing. Soft voices doing some form of chanting were audible in the distance, and that shook me to my core, and some of them sounded like children. I shook it off best I could and pressed onwards. I couldn't believe the strangeness that lay before me. It was a giant face bearing a tormented expression. The imitations of human anatomy were perfectly chiseled from the rock facing, and the peak stretched at least 50 feet high. Holy shit. Terror continued to weigh me down, but my fear for Miss Saffron and her beloved Charlie compelled me to press on. Cholo. The color likely drained from my face as I witnessed the behemoth that stood ahead, a staggering double door, if one could call it that, standing well over 100 feet and bearing a bizarre monstrosity upon the surface. Between myself and said entryway sat a field of human skulls and bones of variety, shapes and sizes, some of which looked to be centuries old and others much more recent. At the crest of the structure was a menacing eye carving which I felt watching me. It came as a surprise to me that I hadn't passed out as to yet. This was by far the scariest thing that I've ever bear witness to, yet somehow I managed to stay in an upright position. A large block jutted out from the surface, apparently a triggering mechanism of some type which could mostly likely open this doorway. Gathering all my strength, I forced it, and a giant click echoed through the chamber. I quickly stepped back, just narrowly avoiding being squashed by the double doors, which slowly opened outward. Beyond the aperture lay a huge dark tunnel with the occasional lit candle along the way, dispensing barely enough luminance to navigate. At the far end, however, seemed to be a distant light source, along with the locale of the aforementioned chanting and screaming noises. I took a few deep breaths and trod on. Moving deep into the structure, tingles rode down my back like electrical currents as I learned Miss Saffron ahead, pleading for me to come to her. As I heard, I increased my pace, pulling my pistol and making it ready. At the end of the tunnel, I came upon something that I cannot not fully describe in a coherent manner. The path jutted up from the surrounded rock as the number of oddly shaped hexagonal steps going through some sort of an arch and terminating at something. It looked gelatinous and rotated slowly. The ground that I previously mentioned, in fact, were coming from the object itself. As I stepped close to it, fearfully I gazed. What I saw within it appeared to be people some distance away in a room of sorts. I could not discern most of the individual faces, but there looked to be a number of broad figures displaying ceremonial daggers. Some of them lurked over antlers with people laying upon them, and others were gathered in a semicircle around Mrs. Saffron, who was standing entranced, for lack of a better term. Ignoring my sweating body and absolute fear, I made my way into the somewhat spherical gate, with heightened resolve. Oh shit. Don't do it. Oh! What I saw filled me with horror. Nebula Saffron was standing there in some sort of ritual outfit, in a bizarre trance of sword-strange sounds emerging from her throat. Her skin now had raised marks on that were clearly of an occult nature, perhaps branded there by torture. I pointed my pistol at the robbed figures who had all moved behind her at this juncture. Suddenly, a chorus of reverberating voices filled the chamber, all in a varying pitch, yet in a terrifying harmony. The most prominent of the voices was coming from Mrs. Saffron. "You have entered my chamber. Your mind has been lost for such a long time now." What in hell was I witnessing? I stood absolutely motionless and unable to move. "You have lived many different lives, shifting to different manifestations of the all-in-one throughout time. But through the epochs of your original identity has been lost. Somehow I managed to muster up the courage to speak. What the hell are you talking about? What is all this? Who are you people? Three other familiar figures walked out casually as I felt even more uneasy. They stood there, just staring at me. Oh god, I thought they were on this too. Meet the parents. This is my father, Christopher Saffron, and my mother, Cassidy Solaris, their friend Elrenia. Ooh. What the f... Nah, that'll be enough of that, and you won't be needing the pistol. Out of nowhere, my sidearm was suddenly gripped by something lurking in the shadows. A long appendage has yanked it from my grasp, and it loudly clattered upon the ground. Something in the dark, for a bodding distance. The others, with the exception of Nebulous, moved away, back into the shadows, though I could sense them burning a hole into me with their gaze. You are the one of the few humans that comprehend the true nature of the multiverse. You learned that you were infinitely small facet of a much higher being, one of its infinite knowledge and power. That entity known to me as Yog-Sothoth, the name that it was recorded as in the original Necronomicon. It's also been called the all-in-one conterminous with space and time, yet locked out of it. Wait, how did I know that? In your first life, you traveled space-time in one of its avatars and helped an artifact known as the Silver Key. You'll learn that all life forms are just minuscule facet of these greatest of beings, gods if you will, and you gain the knowledge needed to transpose your mind into another tiny facet of Yog-Sothoth. Wait, I remember now. I left my own mind and inhabited an alien creature on another world in the distant past. Due to not knowing how to get back to my own body, I became trapped in that creature's mind for many years. Correct, you finally got free. And then you started to amass more of an understanding, jumping from body to body across space and time until you became more of the sum of your parents. However, you jumped into this body, Detective Rivers, upon its conception, and you forgot who you were. Oh god, I'm starting to recall now. It's like there's a giant info dump going in my brain. Welcome back, Randolph Carter. Tonight we celebrate your ascension from mere facet to an avatar of Yog-Sothoth, like my father. I screamed as a flood of memories and awareness forced themselves into my brain, vomiting terrible knowledge within my mind. Oh, that's freaking cool. I'm seeing things that I couldn't before. I have more senses than a normal human, God help me. It was at that instance I came to the realization that the people in robes were actually the missing children who had taken a secret name in the book of the mad cult of the blasphemous deity Azathoth, the blind idiot god above all others, and those strapped to the altars suffering and being tormented were the parents of those young ones. Cool. At that moment, I caught a glimpse of a giant creature, perhaps just its face, or what I assume was a face, in the darkness. From its small wiggling tentacles were connected to Nebula's back, controlling her as if it was a puppet. And now we feast. Best date ever, I cracked gleefully. And now I felt a group of tentacles from my own back, connecting me to the madness of all-knowing Yog-Sothoth. As I ran over, took about out of one of the parents, enjoying the feeling of their blood spraying all over my body. Nebulous saffron crackled along with me gleefully and maniacally, and I knew that nothing would ever be the same. Sometimes you just gotta take a chance with a gal. That's awesome! Sipping the blood. Yay!
Hey there, Cthulhu, down
Hey there,
in your
Cthulhu!
sunken city. You're a billion light years distant, and the stars look very pretty
Thank
from
you!
away.
I appreciate it. You guys are sweet.
So close and yet so far away.
You know you don't have to add me on these, right? I just love playing them. You guys are awesome. You're awesome.
Cthulhu Fatagan, Or is that Cthulhu Fatine? I can
I'll check out
never
their
quite
YouTube too.
remember, 'cause I'm not in my right mind since I met you. No one corrupts the way you do. You know it's true.
Hell yeah!
Oh, it's what you'll
You do to me.
Oh, and
With
all
what you do to
humanity.
me. With all humanity.
Oh, you'll rise up from the sea. Oh, kill everyone but me. Everyone but me.
ArcaneCity.h.io.
Oh.
We promise not to eat you. Mealworms scrapping them down. Yeah. That was a nice screen. I love it. That was awesome! I know I always say this, but that's my favorite one so far. Do I always say this? Actually, I really liked the one before this a lot because I really liked it, like this, your story. But I like this a lot too. The whole detective thing was really fun. That was awesome. Okay, alright. Now we're going to play the outtake, missing scene. This short one-scene kinetic novel ties into Monochrome, Arcane City. If you have not played visual, do it first. Thank you. I have it here. Yes, it's like I was just here. Let's freaking do this. Yes. Give me that crazy glitchy shit. I love it. Yes. Give it to me. As the engine of my car roared to life, I blazed a path through the streets of Louisville, heading towards my home. The rumble of the exhaust was a pleasant sound, and my confidence that I would solve this case was quite high. My contact Santos would be emailing me tomorrow, and surely the mystery pamphlet, which had been passed around Kids Fan Con, would lead me to kidnapping suspect, because it would take roughly 10 minutes to get to my domicile. I lit a cigar, rolling down the window and basking in the sensation of the cool wind hitting my face. After a short while, I pulled up to my well-kept abode, ingesting a sense of positive confluence between the key and the lock as the normal clicking sound pervaded my auditory nerves. Oh, this is different. Okay, alright. My home was sparse, relatively, and none too shabby in my humble opinion. It wasn't the biggest place in the world, but it served its purposes as well, providing me with a sense of security and stability. I took off my shoes, nearly tripping over them in the process. Been there. I'm stuck with the pizza thing. I was rather pleased that I cleaned the place up so well this morning. Not that I expected any company to just randomly pop in, but I figured that if I were to need to have a private meeting with someone, such as my client, surely I'd be able to impress her. I mean, the room looks normal to me. That's what my place kind of looks like. Oh, where are we? My mood continued to relax me. It seemed that coming home after a hard day at the office just melted away the stress of my job. Speaking of relaxation, I decided to grab a beer out of the fridge, debating on if I wanted to watch television or play around on my ham radio gear. For the moment, my curious nature won out as I elected to find out what relaxing things would project from the TV screen. I went over, clicking the analog on-off volume knob to its active position as a pleasing sound started to emit from the speaker. Click!
Now there is an affordable burial insurance plan that guarantees your acceptance regardless of your health.
I love that. I flipped through the channel searching for something to bide my time with. For some reason, the knob that controlled the set felt sticky to me, as if there was some foreign substance upon it. Simultaneously, I got the distinct, oh geez, that made me jump scare, fuck, impression that I was being observed. Albeit upon researching my house and checking the windows, I failed to find an intruder. For an instant, I could swear that I felt a very clammy hand brush across the nape of my neck. I I tried to distract myself with local programming, however the only thing that I was able to pick up was a forecast from the Weather Channel, and even that seemingly innocent distraction brought me no... Ew, snow. We're gonna get snow here soon. Gross. Everything seems normal to me. No data unknown. Unable to communicate. Rhoda? Nice. Extremely dangerous. I like how you put that in there at the other screen. Weather radar is temporarily unavailable for this location. My hands fidgeted with the television knob, attempting to move the dial back to the off position. Finally, the knob clicked, shutting the unit off. As I let out a I decided to change my strategy, making my way over to my ham radio desk. Taking a seat at my station, I flipped my radio equipment on, letting the glass tubes warm up. Static brought the unit to life as a pleasing white noise infiltrated my ears. My hand gripped tightly around the base of a large desk microphone nervously. Radio waves are a funny thing. At certain frequencies, they tend to bounce around the planet on the atmospheric glare known as the ionosphere. However, part of those electromagnetic fields can sometimes be lost to the void of space, making their way outward from our planet, expanding into the infinite unknown. Huh! I proceeded to make a general hail, better known as CQ, giving out my amateur radio call sign. At that moment, I realized my lapse in judgment, an error due to my increasing paranoia. I had inadvertently pointed my directional antenna straight up at the heavens. The microphone became saturated with sweat as it shook in my palm. An even amount of pressure exerted upon it caused it to tip over. A vision seared into my mind, freezing me in a place as I struck to restore the mic to an upright position, as if that could somehow negate the trembling which ripped over me, an earthquake pulsating throughout my being. Oh no, not those balls again. I began seeing this terrible behemoth in my brain while hearing its will and conveyances through my space.
I am all. I am that which is the gate to all possible outcomes. The all-in-one. You are an infinitesimal fragmentation. However, your eyes are shut. Would you perchance a glimpse of truth?
Well, that was fucking cool. It's like I was listening to metal song. I paused, weighing my options, and my survival instincts went out after a few minutes, warning me that my life would be squashed like a bug if I failed to respond to the entity. Grasping the microphone for dear life, I keyed it up, terrified. Yes, I said, hesitantly and unassured, unable to form a more elaborate, coherent response. It was then that I was privy to the true nature of my surroundings. Terrible currents squirming and wiggling like tentacles wrought over my radio equipment. Just as disquieting were the splatters and spools of blood dripping down the walls and upon the floor from various objects around the room, and the nausea manufactured in my stomach from the scent of rotting, maggot-bearing pieces of flesh overwhelmed my olfactory organs. The television lit up of its own accord, blurring loud as I caught sight of disturbingly bizarre imagery being displayed upon the hemoglobin splattered screen.
This is an Action
Oh,
11.
here we go.
Good evening, I'm Gary Rodemeyer.
Last night's light show over the eastern U.S. is still a mystery, but if you missed it, This is what all the fuss was over. Some astronomers with a camera caught 12 human heads in a UPS shipment that passed through Louisville. The heads were shipped by a Philadelphia doctor and were opened here when they began leaking. The FBI wants to know where the heads came from and if any laws have been broken. This is the eve of the Kentucky State Fair. Tonight we'll have a preview of that event.
Fuck, I love these. You're so good at making these.
Messages transmitted at the request of the Kentucky Emergency Management Agency and Metro Safe in Louisville, Kentucky. Kentucky Emergency Management Agency and Louisville Metro Safe ask that people evacuate their residents to a safe location until the all clear is given. This evacuation includes most locations in Kentucky. An explosion occurred earlier this afternoon. Stay tuned for updates.
Siren head. Hysterical and on the verge of madness-induced fit, I scrambled to the television and plugged the electrical cable from the wall. It continued showing disjointed horrors for a few seconds thereafter, ceasing and finally going dark. The visage of the omniscient creature which I had viewed in my brain, speaking to me in reply in a chorus of voices, continued to plague my thoughts. The best I could describe the gargantuan thing appeared as a long conglomeration of smaller orbs with constantly shifting surfaces, amorphous in their feature with complex patterns that at times shifted to terrifying faces, eyes, mouth, and teeth, at a larger sphere which was part of them all. In fact, it was not lucid if all the spheres were one being, many or both at the same juncture. In absolute fear, I ran to my bed, downing a sleeping pill and pulling the covers over my head, as if I was a small child, terrified of the provincial monster in the closet. Proverbial, sorry. But in this case, the monster seemed to be quite real. The following morning, I awoke, grabbing my work-related items and fleeing from my house, which bore no notion of the grotesque horrors from the previous evening. Had I imagined it all? I muttered under my breath. As I made the drive to work, I somehow remembered my case and that Santos was supposed to email me a copy of the flyer today. My nerves calmed themselves over time. You are not ready. You will have no memory of the events of the previous endings for now. I tried. The chorus of voices from the godlike entity were no longer coming through any sort of electronic medium. Instead, they were blasting directly into my feeble mind. A mind whose memories of the previous evening were transplanted with false ones temporarily. Because that was then. Pretty. Sipping blood. And this is now. Oh. Dun, dun, dun. Hell yeah. That was good too. I like the TV thing a lot. That was a nice little like deleted scene or whatever. Yeah, the outtake. That was fun. I'm glad you told me to play it right after because that was fun. Come back, yeah, come back.
It's been so long since we last spoken. I couldn't shake the sense of devotion. I couldn't shake it. There's nobody around. I wonder what I'm doing.
It's going with my lava lamp. Is there? Hell yeah. Hell yeah to your new Discord and Twitch TV friends, baby. You deserve all these people. Fuck yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing a lot better, thank you. Lucius is also doing better.
Well, yes, Yes, I know we can't always be desired.
ArcaneCity-itch.io, mang.
But living without your love,
And I have a whole
makes me
playlist on
wanna
my
start a
YouTube of all of the
fire.
Arcade City.
If I make a comeback,
See you next time! Yes! This is exciting. I'm so happy for you. Fuck the haters. Oh yeah, you're making a comeback, baby. Hell yeah, you are. That was so much fun! Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, the sound effects. Okay, I'll close it. Thank you so much for like letting me know when these come out. Always let me know. I love these a lot. It's so much fun. You can see both dogs in my camera right now. Like, hello? Hopefully this doesn't glitch. Can you see this, guys? It's pretty dark, I know. Maybe I can light up with my cell phone. There's a Lucius down there, and then a Bronson over there by the flashing lights. Look at these little guys. Ridiculous. They fell asleep. They were listening to my story time. They loved it, I guess. Alright, well, that's it for me. I won't keep you here much longer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And stay safe out there. Alright?